Hey guys, D.Bowie here, and this is how to play Meepo in 703 featuring Abed and Miracle. So before I start this video, we need to understand some stuff about the replay system and micro. You can't really see what the player is doing with anything but his main hero, meaning that sometimes you won't really understand what's happening in the screen because it's not like it would be if you were playing. I will try my best to translate it, but it feels to me like good information to share. Also, I've been streaming pretty regularly now, so check my Twitch stream. So yeah, Meepo, he can be playing the safe lane and mid lane, but we will focus in the mid lane here. I feel like he is stronger in that lane because of the proximity in camps, especially in the Radiant side. There are a lot of little things you should know about Meepo. For instance, there are two starting item builds: PMS into branches and pull tangles, or Iron Talon into branches and pull tangles. Going for either build is a matter of personal preference as well as mid matchup. To be honest, the Iron Talon build is more greedy. You're taking overall more damage against right clicks. But Miracle really enjoys playing it in pubs. One thing that a lot of people don't know is that Iron Talon is not only about farming jungle, it's a reliable way of securing range creeps. With the Iron Talon proc and one right click, you can easily take the range creep with Poof. Another thing a lot of people don't know about Meepo is that while it shows that Poof deals 80 damage, it actually deals 160 damage in lane because it deals 8 damage in the initial and the final destination. So it's very easy to get less hits with it, and in the era of range creep domination, using Iron Talon properly can help you a lot. Regardless of the item build you go for, Poof is going to be one of your main tools for getting less hits, especially because you have terrible attack damage and you have decent starting mana pool. So don't be shy with the usage, because at level 3 you can either go for a solo pickoff or send the hurt Meepo back to base while you farm with the first clone. Almost always the first item you go for is boots, and pay attention in this clip how Abed doesn't use Poof to get less hit because he knows he's going to level 3 and Magnus is low on HP. He also uses net first, learns out later, uses right clicks before committing Poof, crispy kill. Another important aspect of playing Meepo is getting bounty runes. Pay attention how he uses the clone to get one bounty since he was higher on HP and mana, while the main one keeps healing. Another change that some people still don't grasp about Meepo is how Threads work on him. Since the Meepo gets 100% shared stats now, the Meepos literally have double the stats from Threads. This is why you always rush Threads on him. While you lane, try your best to get stacks with the clone while you farm, and there's always the potential of getting kills when you bring the clone back. Playing Meepo now is all about maximizing that 100% stat sharing. This is why you go Dragonlance too, in fact. Meepo farms so fast that he is one of the only heroes that doesn't care about building quote-unquote bad items early to sell them later for other stuff. But at the same time, this is one of his main weaknesses. But we will talk more about that later. In this clip, pay attention how he baits Magnus in. He keeps tanking those creeps to get lower in HP, knowing that Magnus wants to contest him. While he does that, the other clone heals in the shrine to get there faster, and he gets the kill by placing one of the clones in the direction Magnus wants to skewer. In this clip, we can see that at level 7, or in 5 minutes, you can start cleaning ancients and feeding extra gold to the enemies. Meepo is the epitome of efficiency. You can get the last hits off the lane, farm a camp, while you get the bounty rune and maybe even other runes. People have the tendency to believe that Iron Talon is a necessity on Meepo, and that's not true. Abed doesn't go for one in this game, and he actually almost never goes for one. What really helps you farm the jungle is not the item, it's thread switching, especially in the beginning. Eventually you're going to have so much mana that thread switching isn't so important, but in the early game it's one of the little things that really ramps up your farm. There's another pretty important factor when playing Meepo: going for the second Dragonlance or Blink Dagger after the first one. It all depends. Miracle always goes for 2 Dragonlances, while Abed sometimes go for 2, but sometimes gets Blink Dagger straight after the first one. When you're against very bursty heroes, it's usually better to get the second one. Heroes like Invoker, X, Centaur, and Ember can do too much AoE damage early on, and if you play too aggressively with the first Blink Dagger, you can end up paying the price. But again, it's a matter of preference and playstyle. Let's follow this Miracle Meepo game to talk about specific plays now. I couldn't find one game where Miracle starts without Iron Talon in the mid lane. He usually goes for Stealth Shield in professional games, but not in ranked games. In this game, he's against a TA. While Miracle has some kill potential after level 3, the first levels can be quite annoying. Iron Talon really helps Meepo to guarantee the range creeps. Range creeps means experience, and Meepo loves to get to good level progression. He ends up misplaying here, but you can see that he had a clear plan. Iron Talon, right click, and poof. He got greedy though and tried to get 2 less hits at once, attack the other creep, and that gave time for TA to deny it. Most of the time though, it will be very hard for the enemy mid to deny. Here we can see it done properly. Even though Meepo is fairly low on HP, we can see him going for a kill. Pay attention how he does it. It's all about learning your level 3 only after Earthbind hits the target, because the secondary Meepo will definitely be in range to cast the second net. In the end, he doesn't get TA, but grabs Earth Spirit. Miracle ends up dying, but only because he was greedy. He probably wanted to use the shrine instead of sending that Meepo all the way back to base or only healing one of them. Still, pretty good level 3 kill. This is one of the most important power spikes that Meepo has in lane. As always, Threads is the first item Miracle goes for, and at level 5, it's very easy for him to farm jungle camps by thread switching. After you get your third Meepo, what you're usually going to be doing is sending the 2 clones together to farm, while your main hero is doing something else, usually also farming in another place. When you have 2 heroes to control though, it's better to always use them together, since he would be too low on HP with both of them if you try to farm multiple jungle camps at once. If you pay attention, without boots or with agility threads, Meepo has 380 mana, with very small mana regen. But with thread switching, he already spent poof 6 times and he can still keep up. This is the biggest strength of going threads first on him. It ramps up your farm in a way that no other item would allow you to in that same price range. One thing to note is how Miracle never tried to contest less hits against TA after level 5. He would only show up in lane when the creeps were shoving against the tower or she wasn't around. Now that he has an Other Club as well as the passive, he has more kill potential on her because it's easier to kill the refraction charges before committing poof. This is a cool clip for us to talk about Micro, especially since he has only 2 to control. He was retreating when Earth Spirit initiated. Miracle gave both of the Meepos the same order, to disengage. They wanted to walk towards that direction. What he can do here is manually select the Meepo that wasn't affected by the slow and use the net, while the other will naturally retreat. Hotkeys are great on Meepo for farming efficiency and all that, but in teamfights it's very hard to know which Meepo was assigned with each hotkey. So manually selecting one of them while the other ones are already doing what you told them to do is, in my opinion, the easiest way to deal with situations like this one, when you kinda want to save one Meepo while also turning the fight around. So in the end, he saves the Meepo and kills TA. If you watch again, you're going to see that the Meepo that was slowed just kept doing his thing while Miracle controlled the other one. Only when that Meepo was saved, he used net with that one and won the fight. Since we're talking about Micro and fights, there's no piece of advice, at least to me, more important than what I'm going to say. First of all, disclaimer, I don't like using auto attack at all. With Meepo, let's say you're in the middle of a crowded fight and sends all of your Meepos with poof. There are tons of units and heroes around, so in these situations, you will need to manually right-click on whoever you want to attack. I feel like it's way easier to misclick who you want to attack if you're using your right-click button. My solution to this, and I feel that a lot of pro players do that as well, is using Smart Attack move and Quick Attack selected. What this does, basically, is allowing you to hover your mouse and select the unit you want to attack by pressing your attack command, in my case the letter A. It feels way easier for me to select hero hitboxes by doing that, and I highly recommend it. In this clip I just showed you, you can see him sending an attack command outside of TA, and that will bring the Meepos to attack her since she is the closest unit available. And this is not the only reason why I feel like this is superior. I will talk more about it while the video keeps going, but I really recommend you try. After that kill, you just keep on farming. Don't forget about bounty runes, and at level 10 with Dragonlance, you can definitely take ancients. When you're using your shrines to heal your Meepos, even if you're not healing all of them, turn your threads to agility because it will help the clones to heal more efficiently. And that's pretty much it. Now you farm 2 camps at the same time, one with the main Meepo and Iron Talon, and another one with the remaining clones. One good efficiency tip is farming the jungle by sections so that you never lose lane creep experience. For instance, after that TA kill, he shows the way very hard on the enemy side by farming the creeps as soon as they arrive. Miracle proceeds to farm those 2 camps, and since it's now room time, he sends only one of them back to the tower to farm while he gets the bounty rune and farms that medium camp and ancients while going back to the tower again. So 2 minutes, 4 camps, rinse and repeat. But since he has 3 meeples now, he doesn't go to the right side because he will lose time. A bounty rune is going to spawn there at the 10-minute mark, so it's better to send 1 meeple to that spot later on. What he does instead is farm these ancients, and by doing it he can get 2 bounty runes at once. Actually, he ends up debated, he tries to go on a TA kill, and then when he's deciding what to do again, our spirit shows up and he loses time again. But these are things that happen, and you can't be completely efficient because there's a game going on and you want to get kills as a meeple. Eventually, you will need to regen some mana. Avoid at all costs using the fountain. Using the shrine saves you time and a TP scroll in case you need one. With the TP cooldown getting nerfed again, healing in the shrines like this is even more important than it was before. Keep doing your thing, and a good indicator to whether you're doing well or not is having more levels than minutes, at least until the 15-minute mark. Since just a little bit before, Miracle saw Venom committing the ult, he can use his newly purchased dagger to kill him. You basically blink, use net, while your meeples poof towards you. It's a good idea to train this type of initiation. Instead of blinking in, landing net, and only afterwards poofing, you can start the poof animation before blinking to surprise your enemy even more. By doing that, sometimes you can burst someone before other enemies are even able to counter-initiate. As the game goes late, it gets harder to do that since the HP will scale more than your poof damage. But still, they will be there faster, and when you have something like a Side of Ice, you will deal more damage during the disable time. Another tip to do this better is having a hotkey that binds every meeple besides your main one. One of the main strengths of Meepo, besides farming so much, is being pretty much independent in cooldowns to get kills after blink tap. He's not like Slark that wants to have Shadow Dance when going for a Shadow Blade to gank, or a Wind Ranger that needs her ult most of the time. Poof is very low on cooldown, and right after that kill, he gets an Invis rune and starts hunting again. With the same approach, he finds Disruptor, and pay attention how he was trying to wait Static Storm being committed before going in. In the end, with Slark spending all of his cooldowns, it doesn't matter if Disruptor ults. It's actually even better for him since the ult was pretty much wasted. He tries to go even further, ganking TA and Venomancer at the same time, and I'm pretty sure he could get both kills even if he died, but Earth Spirit destroy his plans. You almost always see Side of Ice as the next item after Blink Dagger to increase your pick-off potential even more. With this item, the enemy team has to play way more passive and packed, meaning you can ramp up your farm while they start getting choked by your presence. The playstyle is usually your 3 clones farming while you look for kills or even farm yourself. In this clip, he forces Shadow Dance without committing anything, and he can go back to farming ASAP, while Slark will have to play more careful now. He even makes a very clever play. He TPs with the main meeple, sends all meeples but one to the shrine, goes back to the last meeple while he sends the final clone with his friends, so that he can stay in the area testing how dumb Slark is. While all of that is happening, his clones look for more farm in the map. When he finds TA, you can see that he brings the main meeple back, and this is the type of situation where having his Smart Attack move really helps. When the creeps reach meeple, if he tries to right-click TA like crazy, the meeples will be walking randomly around TA because they will be blocked by that pesky creep and the other meeple. This might seem minor, but since they stay close to that area, since Miracle waits some right-clicks on TA's refraction before committing poof, she ends up falling before Grave ends. And why is Smart Attack move so important? The meeples stay close, and this means that pretty much all the poof is hitting TA. I also really like that he just sends the weak meeple back and keeps going for kills. As I said, Meepo is like Storm on steroids. He can pretty much always fight, and the only bottleneck on his fighting capabilities is HP, while Storm has mana as well. And sometimes later on, the Side of Ice cooldown. One good thing to learn is using your other Meeples without resorting to the hotkey that binds all of them. To be honest, I can't know for sure how Miracle plays this part of the game, but unless you take that Meeple away from your control group and add it back up later, microing them without hotkeys is the easiest way. With Slark and TA dead, he decides to go for Roshan, but only after taking the tier 1. Usually, taking Roshan is possible after level 15 with your lifesteal talent, but in this game against TA traps, Venom wards and Slark, he was probably afraid to go so early. With Sight of Ice finally completed, he ganks Venomancer, and pay attention how fast the Meepos arrive when he jumps. He definitely sent the Meepos in before blinking, and this not only increases the burst potential, but it means that most of the time he can get kills before the hex duration ends. Since the Meepos will be attacking for more time, and at this stage of the game your solo kill DPS starts being more physical damage wise rather than coming from poof. The crazy part happens now though. Miracle didn't send all the Meepos to that kill, he left one in that creep camp. This allows him to send the main one back to a completely different side of the map, and he gets another kill because of it. All of this without needing to resort to Boots of Travel or even spending TPs. It's not that hard mechanically speaking to only send 2 Meepos to that fight. It's just a question of hindsight and probably a lot of experience. At this stage of the game, there is no doubt that the biggest strength of Meepo is not even being able to get solo kills or being farmed. It's the ability to get objectives with his team while he creates pressure in other sides of the map. With his allies dead, Slark doesn't want to defend because if somehow they get initiated, they will fight 5 versus 4. Split pushing is usually the answer, but Miracle is there, just waiting for Slark to show up and spam Dark Pact. And he almost gets the kill. All of that while taking 2 towers from the bottom lane. Scary hero. Well, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please guys give it a thumbs up. If you want to see the extended version of this video, please check the link in the description. Pugna is a platform where you can learn from people like Chessie, Fog, and Monib, and get better at the game. They have now great content on the new patch, and if you want to raise your MMR, this is a great time. Just figure out the patch faster than others and get those easy wins. Pretty nice from him, even though he is a melee hero. Finally, a tangle is almost always purchased. Giving tangles to your mid is always nice, and the regen is good to heal you back after using hot during skirmishes. Eating your way to a better hook angle is also something underrated that the item provides. So until now, the 3 key aspects we discussed are move speed, mana regen, and HP regen. Let's take a look on these openers here. Miracle in this game starts with boots, smoke, tangles, clarity, and a branch, and possibly courier. This is not a normal starting item build because he has random starting gold, but we do see all the aspects I talked